Take a look at an electoral college map of the 2004 elections and you'll find a country divided into red states and blue states. This map looks familiar. I wonder where we've seen it before. Now this is a map of our country at the time of the Civil War, divided into free states and slave states. What do the similarities between these two maps tell us? Number one, racial politics was the defining issue of American history. And number one, racial politics is the defining issue of the American present. Republicans win in the former slave states in large part by playing to the fears of white voters. Fears about blacks, Latinos, and immigrants on the one hand, and insecurities about Yankee elites on the other. Both of these fears have roots in the Civil War period and before then. Like the Dixiecrats did before them, Republicans win because they tacitly promise white Americans that they will not have to share power with anyone else, that things will always remain the same. Of course, seeing America as simply divided between South and North is a gross oversimplification. To really understand what's going on, you need a much closer look. You need to see a picture of America divided, not by states, but by counties. Look at a county-by-county electoral map from the last election, and you will see lots of blue in those red states and lots of red in those blue states. They reveal another historic American divide, one that goes back to even before the Revolutionary War. It is a battle between city and country, between the cosmopolitan worldview and the provincial mindset. It was a battle that was first fought between Alexander Hamilton and Thomas Jefferson. Hamilton wanted to keep New York as the national capital, while Jefferson wanted to move it to some pastoral setting on the banks of the Potomac. Hamilton saw the future of this country in manufacturing and commerce. Jefferson saw its future in agriculture. Hamilton was himself a bastard immigrant. Jefferson was a native Virginian and plantation owner. Hamilton was an abolitionist. Jefferson owned slaves. Issues of race are also very much tied up into issues of city versus country. Cities have been home to all different kinds of people. Sometimes, as Jefferson feared, they become cauldrons of crime and immorality. The suburbs, the former countryside, have been places to which city residents flee. They flee when they become too fearful of the motives and desires and needs of other people that they have to share the cities with. And this is also a generalization, but people who stay in the cities tend to accept the presence of other folks in their lives. And eventually, they acknowledge that those folks aren't much different from them after all. People who flee to the suburbs, especially the less integrated ones, tend to have a greater fear of the other. And this is very important, a greater sense of entitlement to power and property. Big house, big yard, big car, so on. So, on our map, cities are almost always blue, even in the so-called red states. The suburbs, especially the less integrated ones, tend to lean red, as does the countryside. But this year, Americans have a chance to redraw the electoral map and change the course of American history. Obama draws much of his support from young white voters. These voters live everywhere: the city, the country, the suburbs. They grew up on Cosby, Oprah, Will Smith, Jay-Z, Tupac. They don't carry the same fears as their parents because they were the first generation to grow up side by side with black kids. Or alternately, they grew up in an American culture that was suffused with the most unfettered black expression in American history. So here's the thing. If Obama and the Democrats can register enough new voters, they can neutralize the effect of race on the upcoming election. And as a result, they can literally redraw the map of the United States, putting states into play that used to be solidly Republican: Nevada, Arizona, Colorado, the Carolinas, Georgia. And I wouldn't underestimate Obama's ability to reach older, working-class white voters. The powers that be have been dividing blacks and whites of this class using racial fears for dozens of years. I think we all underestimate the humanity and the intelligence of the white working class. And I'm pretty sure that some of their kids' multicultural approach has trickled upstairs. So what I'm saying is, don't underestimate Whitey, and let's draw the new map now.